Okay.
So what's your situation?
The situation is I am meeting my mom and my brother in a cafe in London, and I've been I haven't been speaking to them for quite a long time, and yeah, it's the first time I've seen them.
So this is in the future, or it's already happened?
Yeah, this has already happened. This was about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So you're meeting them in the cafe, and then what's the situation within that situation? What's the specific?
So I had uh, stopped talking to my family for about 6 months, and they didn't know where I was, and I agreed to meet my mom. I'd been living like in hostels and sleeping rough a little bit as well, and it's the first time I've seen them. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll meet you. And my mom is really intense. That's my story about her, and it's this is I found the situation very stressful. Yeah, that's it basically.
Okay. And then and then what's the moment that you want to focus on here?
It wasn't even when I first saw them. It was when I mean I will just gloss over my brother because it's really nothing to do with him. But when I first saw my mum, I was fine. But it was when we went and sat down at the table, and I suddenly kind of felt like I was reverting to being a child again and having to be like told off. And she was like, she had me, and she was like giving a whole "I'm so worried" um, exhibition. And it was like
Yeah.
in that moment, I was just so overwhelmed because, yeah, I was just so overwhelmed. And it was just everything growing up with this. And I didn't know how to stop it, so I just agreed with her, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you." And yeah, I just remember that was such a defining moment since then, and I've been back in contact with her for it's on 37 now, so yeah, 10 years ago. That's just been on my mind whenever I'm with her. That's like a defining. This is the role I play, like with with her. So, if that made any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, and I can relate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, what is the stressful thought that you'd like to question?
I'm upset with mom because she was so stressed um, when she met me. When I've been
Mhm.
when I've been yeah, so worried,
Yeah.
so worried. Yeah.
Yeah. And what does that like mean to you? What when she was that worried, what was your emotional interpretation of that?
I interpret it as like, so I want her to stop doing that. I want her to be like Byron Katie
Mhm.
or someone like very calm and very not adding to the challenge with her own worry. And it means, and I just want her to, it becomes my mission to now make her, okay, I need to step up and do something to placate her, make her feel better. So it's like I kind of resent her for how she is being, and then I also feel like it's my mission to fix her, which I really
Yeah.
hate to do that. Well,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if if you like, let's question that. I need to placate her or I need to fix her. Does that
Mm,
sound close to the stress that you're feeling?
yeah, that I have to do anything to her, be nice to her, that I have to feed into this fearful that this is a bad situation. This is bad. We need to deal with this. Is I need to like feed into that. Is that true?
Mm, yeah, I need to feed into her idea that this is a bad situation or something like that.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, so just making sure we're landed on the same statement to question. So I have to feed into her idea. This is a bad situation. I have to be nice to her. I have to fix her. I need to placate her. Which one sounds like it for you?
I think the first one that I need to feel bad. Something's bad, and I need to follow
Mm,
her.
yeah. So I need to feel bad, and something's bad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it like I see it all across my life now. After that moment with my partner that I'm with now, with things at work, I see it like from that moment. I mean, in my story, I see it mirror in many situations. You know, if I if I do something bad, if I make a mistake or something, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you need to feed into her idea that this is a bad situation. You need to follow her. You need to you need to feel bad. Is that true?
No, no.
So how do you react in that moment, especially when you think that you need to feed into this idea that this is bad?
I become David. I become the son, the brother, the one that did this past, that had this is. Um, so I become this. Um, I stop listening to her, stop empathizing with her. I feel tight. I feel trapped. I feel ashamed. I don't want to see her. I don't want to touch her. It's like I'm looking everywhere but at her. I will like refuse to look at what's in front of me,
Mhm.
and I become this follower where I'm like head down. Yes, okay. Yes, okay. I'll. And I'm confused. I'm so confused. I thought I knew what I wanted, and now I don't know. There's two things, and I really don't know what to do. So
Yeah. What is the emotion you feel when you think this?
Yeah, fear and sadness.
And then how have you lived your life since that time when you've had this idea that you needed to follow her, feed into her idea, this is a bad situation?
Like I'm afraid of everything. And I don't know who she is. I don't really want to know who she is. I don't want to see the good in her. That's how I live my life. My partner was she does her own kind of meditative things, and she said something the other day. She was like, "Our parents, they really tried their best." And something in me was just like I could see myself really embracing that, and it was like I wanted to throw up. It's like I didn't know it was so alien to drop that story. I almost didn't know how to behave. So I live my life protecting myself from anything good that she does.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't know what the question was.
You're, I don't even know either, but you're answering how you react really clearly. Um, so this is what happens. That idea becomes that this thought that I have to feed into her idea, this is a bad situation, becomes like a central stressful experience. And then it's almost like you have to block off anything that would contradict it, or that would lead you, as you said, to see the good in her.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Anything more there?
that's it.
Okay, so going back to that cafe, who would you be when she's hugging you and saying how worried she was about you, doing exactly what she did, if you didn't have the thought that you have to feed into her idea that this is a bad situation?
I could see that this is just who she is. This is this is this is what she does, and I can see the value in what she's doing. That maybe it's not so personal. She's got two other children, and she would be like this to anyone. I think
Hmm.
she was a very good mother figure to my first girlfriend that lived with us 10 years before that. I think this is just who she is. I wouldn't make it so personal to me. Actually,
Yeah. So if you're not making it so personal to you, then um, what does it feel like to be hugged by her and worried over a little bit
feels nice.
or a lot?
Feels nice.
Hmm. Yeah.
feels me.
That's who you are without the thought. Yeah. Yeah. It's like receptive a little bit. So, how would you turn the thought around? I have to feed into her idea that this is a bad situation. Something's bad.
I have to feed into the idea there's something good.
Okay. Yeah. So, is it possible that she has an idea that this is good or that you have an idea that this is good? Like, is there anything you can feed into there?
Well, without the story, I'm just being hugged by someone that cares about me, seems to care about me, and that's just nice. Uh, I don't know how many people randomly hug you um, in the day. Um, mm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a So, how what else is good happening here? What when you look at what did you think was bad? What did you think, I don't know, you had done bad or what was your idea of this idea of bad here?
Mm. Guess I thought that I was living a dangerous existence, not in accordance with what she would want for me and the way that she's
Mm,
brought me up to take care of myself. So,
yeah.
yeah, and I see that's coming from me. She didn't actually say anything. I hadn't spoken to her at all up to that point. So
Yeah. So the idea is that you were what you saw as bad was not living in accordance with how she would want or how she brought you up. Can you find, because the turnaround is I have to feed into an idea that this is a good situation. So, is there anything good about not having lived in accordance with how she brought you up when you were living in hostels and out of contact with her?
is there?
Is there anything good in that, possibly?
Yeah, yeah. I found Byron Katie
Mm-hmm.
in a bookshop. I was open to. There was a picture of her, I think, on one of her books, and I was drawn to that vibe, that energy. So yeah,
Yeah. So, you were exploring and you found something interesting, something helpful. What else was good about you being out of contact and not doing what she would want you to do? Is there anything good about that?
it was um, it was very freeing to not have to play me in family gatherings, and I knew that she had a son and a daughter that kept that going with her. So it was very nice to not have to be there for someone. It was very selfish, but it was a very simple. existence that allowed me to focus on myself a lot.
Yeah. And why was that good for you, for her, for everyone?
I actually found it very low stress. Um, I didn't work. I slept a lot. I read a lot. And I found the whole thing, even though it was physically difficult, emotionally, it was very good in many ways.
Wow. Wow. So that's your internal reference. And if you can hold that, then even if she disapproves,
Mm.
there's something real inside, like why you did that and what was good about it. So I have to feed into the turnaround is literal. I have to feed into maybe it's my idea that this was a good situation
Wow. Yeah.
just for balance.
And I threw all that out of the window because I was so obsessed with that it was bad.
Yeah. You took up what you assumed was her
Yeah.
reference, her frame of reference. It may have been her frame of reference, but you never know for sure.
Mm.
You picked that frame of reference up, and then you judged your good experience
Mm.
from that point of view,
That's so true.
and then suddenly something good became bad in your mind.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. That's so true.
So all you have to do to come back to balance is feed into the other side, which is your own experience and that frame of reference, which is,
It was.
you've actually experienced it. So there's actually truth in it as opposed to whatever you suppose about what she was thinking. Yeah. Anything else good about you going away for that time? Anything, yeah, good about it?
It was the London Olympics at the time, and I got to just, I can't even really remember, but I got to just immerse myself in watching it for like, I don't know how long it lasts. Is it a week? I don't know. It felt like the whole summer. It was,
Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks, I think.
and there were all sorts of things like, there was like a Hare Krishna thing going on once, and I had the best food of my life. I don't even know. I don't even know what it was. Um,
I love it. Yeah, yeah,
I think it was just a time of being a lot. Like I had so much time every day, um, and I don't think I had that amount of time to just be since I was like a kid without any responsibilities.
yeah. I mean, people pay good money to go on retreats like that or
Yeah,
go on vacations like that.
yeah,
Yeah. So this is a good situation. Good. Like, as long as you keep in touch with that experience, what was really good, then yeah, that's
mm,
your keel. That's your steady place.
mm,
I had a similar experience with my mom when I was in my 20s, and I moved from one place to another. I actually moved to an ashram for like, and I didn't tell her for at least a couple weeks. It wasn't as long as yours, and I just had to do it. I didn't think she would approve, and it was really, uh, it just was. I just had to do it myself. And I knew it kind of hurt her and I kind of didn't like that. I felt a little bad. But in the end, almost like me growing up, like me saying, I'm my own person. Um, and like almost like that little rebellious part of me as a kid needed to do that because I was always kind of a good kid. So yeah, I'm just relating to what you're saying. Like this could be healthy even, right? That going away from parents at a certain point.
I if I didn't have the story that it was bad, I could have, after 2 weeks, I could have fully embraced that and then spoken to her, and I wouldn't have been selling myself short. But because I was so wrapped up in the badness of it, it kind of just prolonged this, like, when do I ever talk to her again thing.
Mhm.
So it could have been,
Yeah.
without the thought, it could have been like 2 weeks or 2 days, or yeah. Thank you, thank you for the story.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you never know, like for you, it being longer, I don't remember what you said, like 6 months or something like that, or however long it was, that that may have been how long it needed
Yeah.
to be for you.
Mm,
I mean, that might have been the perfect amount of time, and 2 weeks would have been rushing it, and you go right back into the same pattern. And so,
mm.
who knows, right? What we're exploring is the possibility that this could have been a really good thing that you did. And so, okay, so I have to feed into her idea that this is a bad situation. That was our original statement. I have to feed into my idea that this is a good situation. That's our turnaround. Are there any other turnarounds? I'm not sure there are, but worth looking.
I don't have to feed into her idea that it's a bad situation.
Yeah, I don't have to feed into her idea that's a bad situation.
It's that thing.
Why not?
It's that thing of being in the same. You were talking about it last time I was on this thing, where you can be with someone. I think you're saying you're at a Christmas or something with your family. You can be talking to, when Sarah was telling about her. I can't remember what it was. Oh, her friend. Yeah, I remember. You can be with someone that is like really different to you, but you can just be with them, and it doesn't have to be this against vibe going on.
Yeah.
You can hear what they're saying, and you can be with them without making a, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have some kind of weird assumption that we have to think the same in order to be close or to
Yeah.
be friends or
Yeah.
to be somehow related. But we can actually be very different in our thinking and still feel connected, you know, it's possible.
Mm.
I don't have to feed into her idea. It's just she can think what she wants. I just
Mm.
know that I had a good experience.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I feel myself being really loving with her in that moment, and yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that blocks the love is this idea that you have to feed into something that isn't true for you. You have to feed into this is a bad situation when in reality it wasn't a bad situation. So then I have to protect myself. It's like this whole dynamic gets created, and now I have to sort of stay away emotionally instead of if she's allowed to have her view and I'm allowed to have mine, then we can just love each other.
Yeah, I see that. I see that more.
I don't have to feed into her idea that this is a bad situation. And maybe, I mean, it starts to go into, you can take this too far in terms of getting into her business, but it still could be useful. She has to feed into my idea that
Yeah.
this is a good situation, right? Like, and that might mean sharing what your experience was with her so that she would have a chance to see that good side,
And
because maybe she can only see the worry.
totally,
Yeah,
because I'm believing it was bad. So this is what I'm showing her with every ounce of my being. I'm transmitting that to her. I'm not transmitting that this was
totally.
a good
That
experience.
I Totally. I got caught in that trap so much with my mom, like so much. I was having great experience. I loved living in the ashram. I was just loving it. And I would come home and like I felt shame. Like I would like be had my head down. I felt I couldn't say anything. Because I was imagining what she was seeing of me, and I didn't feel like I had any right to say my experience somehow. I just had to
Mm,
follow her lead, and uh, uh, and so she had a wrong understanding of what my experience was. She thought I was like
yeah,
depressed or
yeah,
something.
exactly, exactly. That's all she can see.
Big
Yeah,
misunderstanding. It's all she could see. Exactly. So this just brings back this idea of like standing in my own experience, seeing my experience for what it is, and then on the basis of that, sharing bits of it here and there, even though it's not my business whether they see it or not. Um, but but from where I am, if my experience is real, it also can be contagious, and people do see it or can see it. Yeah, it's just so easy to get caught up in the other person's business. So easy. Cool. Well, thank you for this work. Really, like I said, I can relate.
thank you.